Leveling of Venora Priest. Want to share your thoughts on when I should try COC casts? Any idea what I should aim for skill wise? Then comes to low breaking chart change. Okay. Yeah. Totally, I can help you with that. Um, so as a priest that you're gaining skill on, like you're still in the like grinding stage. Your channeling's like decent, but it's not in the 90s. Um, you're gonna shatter stuff. Like there's no way around it. The shatter rate is high, and we can talk about why that is and how that works. And I'll lead you to the I'll direct you to the Wurmpedia. And if you look at, um, I wonder if it's channeling. Look under channeling. Whoops, did I spell that wrong with two? Is it only one L? Yeah, I think it's under channeling. Dum, 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 dum. Here it is. So when you cast, it says there's several outcomes. Okay, but the way that it works is that okay. So channeling 27, yeah, very low. Um, at this point in time, my recommendation is you're casting opulence over and over and over again until you get to mid 30s or so. Okay. Um, and then after that, you pick another spell that will get you higher than that. And these at this point, you're not really looking for casting for purpose because at if your channeling's below 50, you're not going to you shouldn't expect to get great cast. So what's your faith at? What's your faith at? Because you're at 27 channeling, but I'm guessing you might be at 50 faith or something like this if you're thinking about casting COC. Okay, so the way that it works is that whenever you cast a roll, because you're 50-50, yeah, so one level to COC. So you roll, you try to cast and you get a roll. And that roll is based on your channeling skill, it's based on your alignment, the um few other things that I'm drawing a blank right now. But there's a couple things that it is, okay? And that roll can take a number between I think it's negative 100 and positive 100 or something like this. Okay? And that roll will dictate what power the cast is. Okay? But if the roll is less than 0, okay? If the roll is less than 0, you're going to fail the cast. And at 27, you're going to fail more often than you succeed. Okay, so you're normally going to be rolling less than 0. Now, if you fail, then what happens depends on the quality of the item. So here it's saying a 30 quality item will shatter if the power of the cast is worse than negative 30. Okay, so the quality will determine that. And it's very likely you're going to roll less than 30 often, like often at 27 channeling. Okay, so you're going to experience shatter after shatter. Now, if it's above 30, but below negative 10, like above negative 30 and below negative 10, it'll damage. And if it's above negative 10 but below 0, it'll say this. It'll say, where did it say? The item gives a resonating sound but stays intact. Okay? So it won't damage it, but it'll fail and you won't get a cast on it. Okay? And it'll say a small amount of favors drained so that you lose, I think it's 10 favor you lose. Okay, when you fail. Or maybe it's a certain percentage of the favor. I don't know. Okay, you mentioned the low roll bonus, plus 10, plus. Does that apply to courier as well? Someone told me the only way to get 102 class in a mailbox is to get 80 plus first. I don't know if that's different. As far as I know, it's the same as, and that it's the same on the courier. I can explain the low roll bonus again, but it's like, I'm pretty sure it should be the same for all spells. Yeah, you shatter food with opulence. Yeah, so yeah. Yeah. Um, honestly, honestly, Drogos, um, it never gets better. Like, I mean, it never gets to the point where you think, yeah, I'm there, until you're somewhere in the high 90s, when even then you're like struggling. Like, casting is harsh in this game. It is harsh. And so no matter where you are on the level on your channeling, you're always going to feel like you're shattering so often, it's not going well. Like, I'm landing one in every 5 casts, and even that cast ends up being like in the 20s. Like, this is just the life of a priest. Okay, you're gonna feel this way. Um, and I make it I make the analogy to priesting and casting and enchanting is like the slot machine. It literally feels like a slot machine, right? Where you're like, you pull the slot and you lose your money. You put more money in, you pull the slot, you lose your money again. You put it in, like, and you're doing this, and then like the 100th time you do it, it's like, yes, I got $10 back, right? And then all that $10 goes back into this slot machine, and you didn't get anything back, and you're like, crap. Like, that's what it's gonna feel like for a long time. And I mean, I would say that I always felt like I just wanted to get to casting COC. So I would just cast it, and I would just experience that. Like, I would experience that. And, 1 in 100, you hit a decent, like, roll, like, you'll get a 70 plus COC on something, and like, you'll be happy about it, right? And that's like hitting the jackpot or something. Um, I probably wouldn't start like really seriously trying to cast on stuff until your channeling is more like in the 40s or 50s, right? Because before that, it's just going to feel very, you're going to just fail over and over again, right? Okay, I know what I'm going to do next. I'm gonna dice some meat. That's what I can do while I'm chatting. Um, we have a ton of meat in here. Let's grab some lamb. I'm gonna put that in a backpack. Let's grab more. Need a backpack. And can I dice meat using the crafting window? Yes, yes, good. Okay. So yeah, I'm I think I'm personally I'm about to start casting life transfer. Not about to, but it might be within the next month. I'm going to start casting life transfer, and my goal for starting to cast that is to have my channeling at 60. Currently at 40. Um, Now, in order to get myself there, I need to start working on creating favor, because I can't get my channeling to 60 without just continually casting. And in order to continually cast, I need favor. And so, thanks for the offer, Pinkstree. I might take you up on that. I do have an alt priest that I'm linking to currently, and I know that you can't link more than 2 without getting a channeling gain hit now with the new change. Um, so really, like, I'll need more than just links. I'll need favor. So I'm a foe. Yeah, I'm a foe. Oh, okay, cool. So that you're quite a bit higher than me. You're 60. I only just hit 51 or something like that today. I started my priest really late. I didn't start making the priest until maybe it was a month and a half after the server started. No, it couldn't have been. It might have been a month though after the server started. And at the time, the character because it was started by my son and he stopped playing. So I took over the character and he was Venora to begin with. So I switched him to foe and that brought my faith down to the bottom. So I had to regrind up to 30 again, made him a priest. Now he's at 50. I had a few sermons, so that helped. And I just ground once I hit priest, I just was grinding my channeling. Got it to 40, low 40s. I need to put some more time into that. And I'm planning to start casting life transfer if I can get my channeling to 60. And I know even at that point, it's going to be tough. Okay, so I'm going to show you how to tell. Okay, oh, here's the numbers. Okay, I did not realize this. It says the absolute range of power generated is not actually known, but from observation, it seemed to range from at least negative 250 to 103. Okay, so that puts the bottom end really far down, which makes it so that if it's worse than 30, and there's a lot of room for it to be worse than 30, it will shatter. So I'm going to show you another thing that's going to help with judging whether or not, and it's this table of spells, the table of spells, okay? Because the table of spells has a lot of information about each individual spell. And I'm going to look at Circle of Cunning for a second here, okay? So Circle of Cunning at 51 faith will cost you 50 favor to cast. And, do I have it up still? No, I do not. Okay. So it's on the table of spells. Circle of Cunning, 51 favor, right? I think this is, so faith, that's the faith that you need. 50 favor, and the difficulty, look at the difficulty, is 60. Okay? That difficulty makes the biggest difference in how easy it is or how hard it is to land a good cast. They say that if you're grinding your channeling, you want to be casting spells that are like 10 difficulty below your level. Okay? Because if you're in that range, what's going to happen is that you're going to be in a place where you'll probably be rolling 1 to 40 often. Okay, so think about that. If your channeling is 70, if your channeling is 70 and you're casting a lot, then the majority of your casts are going to land between 1 and 40. That's like the sweet spot for grinding channeling. Because if you get a 1 to 40, you'll get a skill tick in channeling. If it lands higher than 40, you don't get a skill tick. You don't get a skill tick. Okay? So for Circle of Cunning, your best bet is to, like, you want your channeling to be as high as possible, right? But if you're going to be below 60 channeling, you should expect to be failing a lot. And that's sort of like the reality. Whereas a spell like Courier, right? Courier has a difficulty of 20, right? That's a low difficulty spell. And so if your channeling's like 30 or 40 or something like that, then you should expect to be getting like decent casts. Like if you're in the 30 range, you're probably going to get a lot of 1 to 40s. You might get a 50 here, 60, and you might fail some, right? But that's sort of the range. I was in the high 30s when I cast on my mailbox, and my first cast was a 73, and I felt like that was really lucky. I didn't get. I've casted several times more on this thing, and I haven't gotten higher than 73. That was like a lucky first thing.